What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we have part 2 of the sneaker collection. So now I only have my ones on the table right now because I got like over 80 some sneakers and all that wasn't going to fill up on the table. So what we're gonna do is just how I did the last video. We're gonna go 1 through 23 and little one-off Nikes that I have. I probably put that at the end after everything is all said and done. So I'm not going to waste your time yapping because this video is going to be long. It's going to take me a long time to record it. So I'm just going to jump straight into it. But I also want to say thank you. At this point in time of recording, we are 32 subscribers away from 1,000. So if we can hit up 1,000 before the end of the year, that would be cool. But without further ado, thank you again. Without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump straight into my Jordan 1s. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention, this is everything that I have from, I'd say roughly 2020, because some of the Nikes that I have are from 2020, all the way up to today, 2025. Today's December 28th, I think. So from 2020, 2021, all the way up to 2025. So up first, I have the Black Toe Reimagines. I ended up getting these not that long ago. I say about last month or the month before that. I waited all year to get these because I wanted to get them when they first dropped, or when they was first rumored to drop. I think October of last year, but I didn't get my hands on them. And then when they dropped again, I couldn't remember what was going on, but I didn't get a chance to get them. So these and the UNC Reimagines, I need the UNC Reimagines, and then I'll have my whole like completely reimagined set. And I'm mad about that because I ordered these and the UNC Reimagines when they restocked my size, and they couldn't find the UNC Reimagines soon, but and no, like nearby stores, so they ended up canceling that order. But I ended up getting these. So Black Toe Reimagines. Let's get into another one. All right, next I have the reverse laney ones. Now, when I first saw the pictures of these, I was like, yeah, I gotta get them. I gotta get them. I ended up getting like a custom-made jersey from Amazon to match the colors for these. I ended up wearing these to take pictures in them for my birthday of 23, I think. I'm pretty sure these dropped the same year as the Laney 14s, which I'm heard about. I am going to get my hands on those. There's a lot of stuff that I need to go back and get my hands on. Hopefully in 2026, I can expand the collection so the collection video for next year is just as good. But reverse Laneys, love these. Okay, the Royal Reimagines. I never owned the leather pair. So again, when I saw these, I was like, yes, must pick these up. Blue's my favorite color, and then that blue and black is just, it's something about that blue and black. It hits different. Even though a lot of people, when you grab stuff, they're like, oh, those are bricks or those satin, blah blah blah. That's cool. I don't care. They can sit for as long as they like. As long as I can get my hands on a pair of them, it doesn't matter to me. I don't plan on ever selling any of my shoes. So them being bricks, them being a hot commodity doesn't really make a difference to me. But Royal Reimagines, I also, you're gonna hear me say this a lot, love these. The patent breads. So these were a gift, a birthday gift. I really I missed out on the original release of these because I wanted these so bad. I think they dropped the same year as the Cool Grays. And even though the Cool Grays kind of grew on me at first, I'm like, nah, I'm not really tripping about the Cool Grays. Crazy thing about it is the Cool Gray 11s, when it came out in 2010, I wasn't really a big fan of them for whatever reason. And then when it came back out in 2021, I felt that same way. And then when I really started getting deeper into the sneaker game, now I'm just like, I'm looking back at the Cool Gray 11s and I'm like, man, I shouldn't have slept on those. So I would like to get my hands on the Cool Gray 11s. But I had COVID when these dropped, so I couldn't pick them up. So I think I got these 23. I think there was a gift for my birthday in 23. And when I got these, I was happy because I wanted these really bad. I've worn these a couple times. I do need to clean up the midsole and stuff like that, but I haven't worn them in a while. But patent breads. Next, I have the Lucky Green ones. When I saw these, this was another one where I'm like, I gotta get them because there was a pack that came out back in '08, '09, I want to say, with the breads and what was calling them the Celtic ones then. And it had the Jumpman on the tongue tag. And me and my homie, we were going to go half. He was going to have the breads and I was going to take the Celtics, and they never ended up happening. So I've always wanted a pair of these. So I had to get a pair of these. I wore these on my birthday of last year, 24. Yeah, of 24, and I haven't worn them since. I do need to clean them up a little bit. I mean, the bottoms is the only thing that's really kind of dirty about them, but other than that, I eventually will bring these back out. But like I've been saying in the video, love these. All right, next up I have the satin breads. Now this is not the pair that were city locked or were going that was going for thousands of dollars. I don't really know. These were the 2023 pair. I don't even remember when these came out. These were the most recent satin breads. When I saw these, I was like, yeah, and they're women exclusive. But when I saw these, I was like, yeah, I'll only get my hands on them. They're pretty smooth. So yeah, I haven't brought them out yet. Like just like everything else in my collection, I will eventually bring it out at least once. But satin breads, smooth in my book. Okay, had the satin breads, so it's only right that I got the satin shadows. I was thinking that they was gonna drop a satin pair this year or like continue it on because I'm pretty sure the breads came out in 23. These came out in 24, and we didn't get a satin Jordan 1 pair to come out this year, but it would have been cool because I would like the satin royals or the satin black toes or even like the satin shattered backboards, which I need to pick up the shattered backboards. That might be one of the first pickups for 2026. But yeah, when I saw these, I had to pick them up. Have not worn them yet. These are smooth, and these I want to say they sat. I mean, like I said, I don't really care if like stuff sits or whatever, as long as I get my hands on a pair. But satin shadows, I do love these, and I will eventually bring these out. All right, so these ones are a weird one for me, and that's the True Blue ones. I really only picked these up because I won the raffle for them. Like, when I saw these, it wasn't no like, oh man, I gotta have those. I won a raffle for them, and I'm like, I like blue, the blue and the gray. It would have been cool if it had like a hits of red to give you that True Blue 3 feeling. But overall, it's still a smooth shoe. And, it's growing on me and stuff like that. So I do need to bring these out. But ain't no telling when I ever will. But yeah, True Blue ones. Smooth pair. Next up, I have the Cinnabar women's Rare Air Jordan 1s. When I first initially saw these, I thought these things were ugly. I was like, nah, these things are hideous. But they grew on me. Like when I really got into wanting to complete the Rare Air set, the more and more I looked at them, I'm like, okay, these ain't half bad. And then I swapped out the laces and put the blue laces in them. And I'm like, yeah, these really aren't that bad at all. I don't know what I was thinking. So end up going back and picking these up because of course these sat, and the men's ones, which we're about to get into, those also sat too. So I do like these. I did have one red, one blue, but I was just like, nah, let me just take the red out and just replace it with the blue. These are the laces from the Rare Air 4s. So women's Cinnabar Rare Air 1s, they're smooth. They're pretty smooth. All right, so like I mentioned with the women's Cinnabar 1s, we also have the men's Rare Air 1s. And these were more or less like, if they still got them, I'll double back for them. But I do like these a lot. I liked how you can remove the paint on the solution, stuff like that. I don't intend on removing mine. I think I like the whole over time aspect about that. But I do like these. Like I say multiple times, blue is my favorite color. So that blue going up a lot of eye stays and stuff like that. There's something about that blue that hits. So let's get into probably my favorite. So let's just get into my last Jordan 11 high. I do have some lows and a story about those, and probably my favorite Jordan high that I have in my collection. A lost and found Chicago 1. Now, I was getting back in the game when I grabbed these. I didn't even really know what I was sitting on because, like I said, I don't look at sneakers for the whole resale aspect of it. So when I saw these, I was like, all right, this is dope. And then I started doing my research and started understanding more about what this was and stuff like that. And I was like, oh yeah, like I mess with these wholeheartedly. And I have not worn them, and I do plan on wearing them sometime. But I do. There's a weird thing about me is when I'm trying to collect a set, like the original colorways or like the rare set, I won't wear one or a sneaker out of that set until I complete the set because I want to have the whole set fresh, like DS. And then I'll consider and thinking about when I'm going to wear them. But I'm going to get into my lows that they were given to me, and we will shift over into my Jordan 2s. All right, so we're just going to take care of all these all at once. They are dirty because I do wear them, but I don't know the names of these ones. I'm pretty sure I think both of these are a women's exclusive, but I'm not really a big Jordan 1 low person. I always said that if they were like gifted to me or, somebody bought them for me, I'd wear them. But there's really not no Jordan 1 lows out there that felt like I had to rush and get. And I do have, and this is the other pair. Now, these weren't like my big homie that gave me these, he customized these. This is just a pair of all white low ones, and he does customization, so he got down with it. And I like these a lot. I wore these a couple times. So that's it for my Jordan 1 lows, my Jordan 1s in general. So let's go ahead and get straight into my Jordan 2s. Okay, the first pair of 2s that we starting off with is the women's craft 2s. Uh, when I first saw these, yeah, I had to get them. There are some 2s that I'm missing. I do want to go back and get, and there's some that I kind of like passed on for whatever reason, but they will be in the collection because I love my 2s. But when I saw these, I had to grab these. I wore these to an event with the kids, so I wore them a couple times. I ain't really wore them in a long time, so gotta bring them out. Okay, the second pair of 2s is another women's exclusive. It's the white and black 2s. Funny enough, they have a UNC like baby blue insole. Found that funny. But another one that had to come home with me. I love these. I have worn these, I think twice. I've worn these twice. I need to clean these up and clean up the midsole. I got some fading from jeans on the top, which sucks when it's on the white, but get them cleaned up. And I'm most definitely going to bring these back out. These Jordan 2s are really comfortable, really, really comfortable. But let's get on to my third pair. All right, for the next pair are the white cement 2s. And these were also a gift. When it comes to gifts, certain gifts, or if it's shoes, depending on what it is, I'm like hesitant to wear it because when it's a gift, I want to keep it as a good condition as possible. Even though shoes are made to be worn, it's just when I'm gifted something like a sneaker, especially something that I want, I like to keep it in the best condition that I can, just because I feel like it'd be like kind of like disrespectful if somebody gifted me a pair of sneakers and I just went and trashed them. But I do plan on wearing these. I want to get the black cement 2s, and that's probably like one reason why I haven't worn these. But white cement 2s, dope sneaker. Let's get into the last two pair of 2s, and then we'll move on to the 3s. Now these pair to me when I first saw them was so fire to me, and it's just I think it's the green, how vibrant that green is. The Lucky Green 2s. I saw these. I was like, oh yeah. I would love to see a pair like these, but where it's green, it's blue. Oh, that'd be so dope. But Lucky Green 2s, love these. Let's get into the last pair of 2s, which is the OG colorway, and then we'll hop into the Jordan 3s. These are by far my favorite Jordan 2 that I have in my collection. Like even through the old 2 that I have, just having the OG colorway is smooth, but it's just something about this Jordan 2 that's just like so nice to me. So I haven't worn them yet. I'm gonna wear my shoes. I promise y'all. but these are by far my favorite Jordan 2 in my entire collection. So that's it for my 2s. Let's go ahead and get to my Jordan 3s. I actually had more Jordan 3s than I thought, but the first pair are the green glows. When I first initially saw these, yeah, they are like a black cement clone, but I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting them. And I really thought that they was gonna fly. I was in the like kind of in a rush to get them. I had to work that Saturday. I was trying to kind of in a rush to get them, but now these mugs sat and they even went under retail, so that's cool. I'm smooth one pair. I haven't worn them yet, of course. I gotta find something to go with this. I got something in mind that I have my closet, but I ain't really, these is not on the radar to be like, oh yeah, I'm about to break them out. But I do like these. All right, next up are the Midnight Navy 3s. When I first saw these, I wanted them. I think they were supposed to come out at the end of 23, and either they got pushed up or something happened with the release, and I missed out. But I was actually lucky enough to get my hands on these. These are actually a 10.5, and it sucks because these are, one of them are a display shoe, and even though the bottoms aren't, look like it got any signs like of wear, I don't like getting display shoes. I want my stuff from like fresh from the back. But this was the last size they had, so I had no choice. So I picked them up. I love these. Like the materials on these is nice. All right, next we have the Wizard 3s. Another one I saw I had to get my hands on. I don't know if I got these on drop day. I think I was lucky enough to go back and get these and the Lucky Greens at the same time. I can't really remember. Are these a size 10? Yeah, these are my size. But these give me True Blue 3 vibes. And, once we get the True Blue 3s next year, I want to get my hands on those. And I kind of want to do a little comparison, like when it comes to materials and the elephant print, and just like seeing what's the difference between the two of those. But I love these. And I haven't worn them yet. Still waiting on the right time. All right, next up we have the Fear 3s. I remember seeing these back in the day, the Fear 3s, the 4s, and the 5s, and I feel like it was a missed opportunity. The 5s could have came out in 2025. We had the Fear 3s in 2023, the Fear 4s in 2024. So the Fear 5s could have dropped, and that could have been my like poor man's Fear pack. But I love these. And these were, I say, more or less disrespected by the masses, but I mean, they're still fire to me. I had to get my hands on them. These, it could have been to the point where I could have got two of them, but they are not really double up worthy in my opinion. That's why I only got one pair of them. So I'm waiting on the Fear 5s. Hopefully they come out next year or sometime soon. This was another one that I thought that was going to be gone day one. I ended up going and picking these up at like 5 in the afternoon. The Saturday dropped the Black Cat 3s. I remember seeing these. Another one I remember seeing back in the day, and I love these. A lot of people don't like the patent leather or the shoelaces, and I mean that's how they came back in the day. But the only thing that was different is didn't have the black cat behind the tab, and it pissed me off when I picked these up because when I got back home, got them out the box and looked at them, there was a nick on the midsole, like a nick to the point where it took the paint off. And luckily, my big homie, he was able to take care of that and repaint it for me. And now you can't even tell where it's at. But Black Hat 3s, love them. These were another pair that I thought they were going to do better than what they did. Pure Money 3s. A lot of people didn't like the color on the elephant print. Me personally, I never owned the old pair, so it don't really make a difference to me. And I saw them. I said, "Oh yeah, I got to get them." So Pure Money 3s, I want them to release the whole Pure Money series, Pure Money 4s, whatever Pure Money or whatever all white Jordans that released around that time that the 3s and the 4s came out and stuff like that. So Pure Money 3s. Now I like these ones from when they were initially a mock-up, and that is the Family Affair 3s. So I had a goal. I still need to make the video about it. I had a goal that I set for myself this year to grab all the non-OG colorways that weren't limited, so like general releases that had the Nike Air on the back, and I was gonna make a video comparing and which one sported the Nike Air the best. I still haven't gotten around to do it. I need to get around to doing that, and that's probably something I'll do here soon. But I do like these. These are like a very quiet shoe, and that Nike Air, it stands out so well that they'll see the shoe, and then when they see that Nike Air, they'll double take like, wait, hold up, that mug got Nike Air on the back. So I had to get my hands on a pair of these. Next, we have the Rare Air 3s. These mugs go crazy. These are one of my favorite from the set. When I saw the back tab and how they was doing that, I'm like, oh y'all did y'all thing with this one. Like it, man, it's just something about this shoe. I could have doubled up on them, but I think I'm just smooth with one pair of these. Uh, I I love this shoe so much. Like it's crazy. I think that back tab really just puts it in its own class when it comes to Jordan 3s, and it comes to Jordan 3s with the Nike Air on the back. But we're getting down to the last two pair, I think. Yeah, we're getting down to our last two pair. So let's go ahead and get into it. For these, I never owned the non-reimagined pair, so I had to get my hands on the reimagined white cements. These are fire. I can only imagine like without this sail on the midsole and on the back tab what these look like, but for them to be a reimagined pair, they're still fire to me. So we're gonna get into my last OG colorway, my last threes, my babies, because I had the 2011 pair, so these last pair are very near and dear to my heart. The last time these dropped, I was not in the game, which kind of upset about, but at the same time, I'm not, because I was able to get my hands on the black cement threes. Like I said, I have the 2011 pair. That was my first pair of threes. No, not my first pair of threes, but my only like original colorway of the threes that I picked up. And so when I saw these were coming back out, I had to get my hands on them. I should have doubled up on them. I mean, I could still give me another pair off like Go or StockX, but these, they hold a special place in my heart. So that is it for my threes. We're gonna start getting into the fours, and that is going to be a very, very long process. But let's go ahead and get into the fours. All right, so this is the next day. This by far, I gotta breeze through this because I'm dealing with storage issues, computer issues, whatever. So we have 20 Jordan 4s to go through. So the first up is the Midnight Navies. Now, these were the first pair of Jordan 4s that I bought getting back into the game. And when I saw these, I wanted these really bad. So military blues, Midnight Navy blues. Let's get into the next pair. All right, so the next pair is the UNC 4s. I bought these from my big homie. I try my best to clean them up and do all that extra stuff, but I do eventually want to get me like a fresh pair. I'm worn these, of course, because they were already worn, so I've worn them myself. But I do want to get a fresh pair of these because I love these. Well, the UNCs. I love the UNC colorway. So UNC 4s. Let's get into the next one. All right, next up we have the white cements. This is my first time owning a pair of white cements, and these mugs is fire. These mugs is fire. Back in 2012 or 2011, whichever year these came out, I wasn't really like too hip to the game to know when these dropped to actually have them back in the day. And then when they came back out in 2016, the last time they came out before these, I wasn't in the game, so I didn't pick them up. So when I saw these, I was like, oh yeah, OG colorway, gotta add them to the collection. All right, next up we have the Forget Me Not 4s. By this point, I'm collecting every 4. It's top 3 of my favorite silhouettes, and I just love collecting the 4s. That's why I got so many of them. If I do wear these, I'm going to take the flowers off, but I think I like that baby blue and how the hits with the white and stuff like that. This is a size 12 because I went back and size 12 in women's, which is 10 and a half in men's. I went back and picked these up. I was lucky to find these still in stock. So forget me not 4s. All right. Next, we have the Fear 4s. Like I said, with the Fear 3s, I had to get the Fear 4s. and I was hoping the Fear 5s would come out this year so I could have my 345s, like my Fear pack. But Fear 4s, a lot of people didn't like them. I love them. All right, next up we have the Olive Craft 4s. These was another shoe that when I saw, I wanted them. I wanted the crafts that came out January of the year that these dropped, but they were like, they didn't come to us. So like, it was like on the limited side, I guess. I still want to go back and grab them. I have my undefeated laces in these because it was a whole situation about when undefeateds and these and all that and everything. But love these Olive Craft 4s. Okay, up next we have the Vivid Sofa 4s. These were women exclusive, and the year this came out, I'm pretty sure the metallics, the gold metallics, the women's gold metallics 4s came out, and I wanted those too. And there was a story about those, but I was glad I got my hands on these because I wanted these as soon as I saw the pictures of them. I've worn them a couple of times, but these are dope. I like these. All right, so these are another women exclusive. The denim 4s, or whatever I think they called them the denim 4s. When I saw these, I wanted them. When they dropped, they took a while to sell out, and I was lucky enough to find these in store. This is also a size 12 in women's. I was lucky enough to find these in store. I do like these a lot, and I wanted these like drop day. All right, next up we have the White Thunder 4s. So I made sure I had to get my hands on a pair of these because when the Thunders came out, man, that story, I'm still hurt about that. But I will, by so many sneakers I've said in this video already, I will have those in my collection. And yeah, like I said, I had to get my hands on these. I want to complete the Thunder set. Excuse me, especially since we got news that a pair of Pink Thunders are coming out next year. So hopefully I have the set close to complete by the time I get those or completed. And all I need is those. But White Thunder's smooth colorway. All right, next we have the Pink Orchid 4s. So these remind me so much. They're pretty much like the UNCs, but instead of blue, they're pink. And I had bought the UNCs for my big homie, so I was like, oh, I want to get the Pink Orchid 4s. These, I swapped the laces out and put the black ones in. These are so smooth to me, like the all over suede or suede upper. Like these just so smooth to me. I love these so much. Next, we have the Oxidized Green 4s. When I saw these, I was like, yeah, I got to pick them up. And they came out in June, almost close to my birthday. So that was like a birthday present to myself. But these are so cool, like so smooth. And like I said with the Lucky Green 2s. Now, if they would have dropped an oxidized blue 4 where all of it's green, it's blue at, I would have got two pairs of those instantaneously. But oxidized green 4s. Let's get into the next pair. All right, next up we have the Wet Cements, or I'm pretty sure they was calling them the Paris Olympics at one time, but I like these too. Like if they would have had Nike Air on these, I'm cool with the Jumpman. The Jumpman's a nice touch. If they had Nike Air on these, oh man, these would have been brazy. Like these probably one of my favorite 4s that I have in my collection. It's just like something about this gray and then right here by the toe box. But that is the Wet Cements or the Paris Olympic 4s. Okay, next up are the Abundance 4s. I think this is the last pair of women exclusive 4s I have in my collection, if I remember correctly. But when I saw these, the mock-up, I was like, yeah, collecting 4s is just, it's weird because it's, like I said earlier, it's like my top 3 favorite silhouette, but yet it's the most that I have in my collection. There are some 7s and some 2s that I need to go back and pick up to get my collection with those up with the 4s. But these were smooth. I like these. There's one more female exclusive 4s I want to get, and that's the Cozy Girls. Those are still sitting in my size, so that might be one of the first pickups for 2026. So if it is, that would be in that video for next year. But the Abundance 4s, I can't remember. Seafoams was the original nickname they have for them, but dope sneaker. Okay, next up we have a lot of people's sneaker of the year, as crazy as that sounds, the Cave Stone 4s. I had a mission to pick up every non-OG. I think I already said it before in this video, but every non-OG colorway that had Nike Air that was not limited. And this was on the radar. And like I said before, I like collecting Jordan 4s. So collecting these, and it having a Nike Air, that was already solidified for me. But I like these a lot. These are I swapped out the laces and put some black laces in. But we got the Cave Stone 4s. We're getting down to our last 7 pairs. So let's just go ahead and get into the next pair for us. Okay, next up we have the Black Hat 4s, and I cannot wait to get my hands on these. I wasn't in the game when they dropped in 2020, and my size, they were going for like $1,000 for like years. So when I heard that these were coming back, I had to get my hands on these. All right, next we have the Black Cement Reimagined or Breads, but I like these. These were a decent put together reimagined, and with the new buck version coming out next year, I want to get my hands on a pair of those too. Even though I have these, I've never owned those pair, and I was looking at the 2019s, but now I have no reason to since they're coming out next year. So reimagined black cements, love them. Okay, next we have the Undefeated Force. These are one of my favorite shoes in my whole collection, and I'm happy to have these. I didn't think that when they first was being said that they was coming back, and they had the friends and family pair, and then they had this pair with the Nike Air. Didn't think I was going to be able to get my hands on them, but I was lucky enough to get my hands on them, and these will forever be in my collection. Forever. Okay, so my last 4 pair are double ups. Rare Air Force. Ain't no telling we'll ever see these again. And there was just something about these that I felt like I needed to get 2 pair. So I have 2 pairs of the Rare Air Force, and the 3s, to me, in my opinion, are better than the Rare Air Force, just for the difference of the back tabs on the 3s and the 4s. But I had to get me 2 pairs of these. And for my last 2 pairs of 4s, the Military Blues, the Military Blues was my first pair of Jordan 4s that I ever bought. And I traded them for a shoe that you'll see coming up. And I didn't realize what I had at the time until I started doing more research and started getting more into the game. And then I was like, dang. So before these dropped, I hit up the dude that I traded them to, and to see if he still had them, but he has sold them. So I knew that. I was like, okay, I got to get 2 pairs of these. And neither pair are leaving my collection ever again. And that pair of the 2012s didn't have the Nike Air on the back. So I feel like even though I did trade them, it was like supposed to happen, because now I got 2 pairs of them. Instead of the Jumpman, they have the Nike Air, and neither one of these pair will ever leave my collection ever again. So that is it for the 4s. This has been a tedious recording, let me tell you. So now let's go ahead and jump straight into my Jordan 5s that I have in my collection. Okay, starting off with my 5s are the blue suedes that I bought from my big homie. It looks weird because he re-dyed them. I always wanted a pair of these, and seeing these and getting these from him made me want to get like a new pair, because I think these are 10 and a half, and I wear a size 10. So I would like to get a pair of DS blue suedes, and I kind of want a pair of the red suedes too. But blue suedes, I always wanted a pair of these. Next is another pair I got from my big homie, is the Raging Bulls. And the funny thing about these are they're a size 11, but one day he was wearing them and he doesn't like 5s. And I told him, I said, hey, I mess with those. And he was like, man, you want these? They hurt my feet. And I'm like, you gonna give them to me? He's like, yeah, you can have them. He said, you want me to re-dye them? I was like, no, I'll just take them. So the Raging Bulls, this is also, I've wanted a pair. I actually wanted a pair when they came out in that pack. It was the Raging Bulls and it was the all black 3M. I wanted the all black 3Ms. I wasn't really a big fan of all red shoes, but when I got back in the game, he said, hey, you can have these. And I'm like, cool, I'll take them. I like 5s, and these grown on me being the predominantly red sneaker. But I do want me a DS pair of the Raging Bulls. So let's get into the next pair. All right, next up we have the Sail pair of 5s. The materials on these are not my favorite because they collect like fibers and dust pretty quick, but I do like the tongue on these. And the funny thing is, these are a 10.5. I didn't know it. I probably is because these were, I think, the last pair. One of these was a display shoe, and didn't like that. Tried it on. I was like, yeah, I'll take them. And boom, they took the shoe, put it in the box. I was like, oh man, this is a display shoe. But I do like these. When I saw these, I wanted a pair of them. Uh, like I said, I'm not really fond of the material because I'm seeing a whole bunch of black fibers on them. You can't see that on camera, but I see them really well. Smooth shoe. Let's get into the next pair of fives. Next up, we have the olive fives. I worn these one time, and for the one time wear, the um, translucent, like the iciness of it, really didn't fade that bad. But I remember seeing a dude I went to high school with, or middle school, high school, one of the two. I remember seeing a homie I went to school with back in the day have these on. So when I saw these were coming back out, I had to get a pair of them, just for the simple fact of memories of seeing somebody else having these on. I do like these a lot. I do have one specific fit to go with these. That's why I've only worn them once. I do like to change up fits if I do wear a specific shoe or something. I don't want to have like the same fit for the same shoe over and over again. But I do like these, and these all are double up worthy. But I didn't double up on them. But never getting rid of these olive fives. Let's go get into the next pair of shoes that came back from '06. That's I think when these initially dropped was '06, and I actually got two pairs of those, but I'll get into why I have two pairs of those. Okay, next up is the burgundy fives, and like I said, I have two pairs of these. Now I bought these, and a friend of mine gave me those. Funny story about that is I think she ended up getting like two or three pair and try to get rid of them. She got them, don't really fully know the story of buy it, but I know she was trying to get rid of them. And just one day she was like, "Hey, do you want these?" I was like, "Shit, yeah, I'll take them." So I have two pairs of the burgundies. I have not worn these yet. I don't have an outfit for these. I'm still looking. Well, I mean, I could have found an outfit for these by now, but I just haven't really got an outfit for them. That's why I haven't worn these yet, and I haven't worn those. So I have two pairs of burgundy fives. No, I'm not getting rid of them. I do like these. I do remember seeing these back in the day. So when they came back out, I had to get a pair of them, and I lucked up, and a couple years later, ended up having two pairs of them. So the burgundy fives. Let's get on to my next pair. Okay, so this pair, Lucky Green fives, women's exclusive. These are the only women exclusive fives I have in my collection, and these are a size 12 in women, which is a 10 and a half in men. And I think the reason why I got them that size was I wasn't sure at the time if getting my size in fives uh, would like women's exclusive, but in the Jordan fives would be comfortable or not. So I'm guessing that's why I'm got them in a 10 and a half instead of 11.5 in women, which is a 10 in men. I don't know, but these I saw these were fire. Man, I'm so mad because I wanted the Lucky Green threes, and the day that they dropped, I don't think I had the bread on me, and I was thinking that they weren't going to sell out, which they ended up. And resell on those threes are crazy because I wanted the Lucky Green ones, I had the Lucky Green twos, the Lucky Green threes, and then like the Pine Green fours could have been like a part of that line, and then the Lucky Green fives, but it didn't end up working out. I still do want to get my hands on the Lucky Green threes. I've been keeping my eye on the resale on those, and they're still like kind of high, but eventually I'll get my hands on those. So we got a few more fives left, and then we can move on to the sixes. Next, I have the 35th anniversary or the soft pink fives. When I first saw this mock up, I thought it was going to be a women's exclusive, and I already knew that I was going to get my hands on a pair of them. because of the Nike Air. Well, I wanted to get my hands on a pair of them, but I didn't realize that they were a men exclusive. And the upper being 3M reflective, um, excuse me, that was a good touch. And I do like these very much. Double up worthy, not for me. Well, kind of, but I didn't double up on them. Next, we have the grapes. Now, this is my first time owning a pair of grapes. When I saw these were coming out, I was like, OG colorway. I got to get my hands on them. I've never owned them before, so I would love to add these to the collection. And we end up securing them. That Nike Air on that's just so beautiful. This is an all around really nice and dope shoe. So I'm glad to be able to add the grapes to my collection. I do want to see the black grapes. I want a pair of those also. Next up, we have the Fire Reds Black Tongues. Now, I've never owned a pair of Fire Reds, so this is my first time owning these. And these are double up worthy to me. So now I only need the Fire Red Silver Tongues, and I'll have both Fire Reds, and then I'll have the OG 5 set completed. Next, we have the UNC 5s, and oh, these are one of my favorite 5s because I'm a big proprietor of blue, and that all blue upper is just crazy. The inside, the sock liner is crazy, and the collegiate tag. This makes me want to go and grab the Michigan Johns and uh, the Michigans and the green pair. I can't remember what the Oregon's, Michigan, Oregon. It makes me want to go grab the other ones with the collegiate tags on it. Love these, love these, love these. So for the last pair of 5s, we have the black metallic reimagines, and I had to get my hands on these. I should have doubled up on these, but nostalgia because I had the 2011s. I didn't get the 2016 ones, and because I was out the game, because I would have loved to have those too. But I think I like these a little bit more just because of the 3M trim and the 3M Nike Air. But that's it for my 5s. Let's go ahead and jump into my 6s. Okay, we'll make this one really quick because we only got 3 6s to go through. And the first one up is the Toro Bravos. Saw these, one of these. Got the Raging Bull 5s, Toro Bravo 5s, Toro Bravo 6s. So now we got the Toro Bravo 4s coming out next year. You know I need to get my hands on those. Just complete the like Toro Bravo-esque set. Okay, next up is the Chrome 6s. These are the first pair of 6s I got since coming back in the game. And it makes me want to get the DMP 6s just because of having silver and gold. I want to get the cap and gown 6s next year too and see like the comparison between the two. So let's get into our last pair of 6s and then we'll jump right into the 7s. And the last pair of 6s we have are the Olympic 6s. When I saw these were coming back out, I had to jump on them because I had the 2012 version. And these sat, I could have doubled up on them. I think I'm good with one pair. And in my mind, I was thinking about doubling up on them, but it's fine with one pair. I technically do have a double up because I still have my old pair that is wearable. But that is it for the Jordan 6s. Let's go ahead and jump into my Jordan 7s. All right, for my 7s, I have the Hair 2.0s. Now, this material on this is really crazy. I wanted these because they share the Hair moniker, and I love the Hair colorway. That's my favorite Jordan 7 of all time, and I need to grab the Hair 6s. But I do like these. They're like on the low end of my Jordan 7s, but I've been lacking. I thought I had more than just the 4 pair that I have, but let's get into our next pair. Next, we have the Afro Beats. I actually got these from GOAT, and I wanted these for 2 reasons. Because they were a Jordan 7, and it had the Nike Air on the back, and that was a dope touch. I do love these sneakers. I haven't brought them out yet. I don't have nothing to wear with them just yet, but love these. Another pair are the Olives. When I saw these, I was really getting back into the game, and I'm like, oh, dang, they finna drop. I need them. Another dope aspect is the same as the Afro Beats. They have the Nike Air in that gold and dope Jordan 7. And for my last pair of 7s, the Cardinals. I got the 2011 counterpart, so I had to pick up the retro. These will forever hold a place in my heart, and I will never ever get rid of the old ones or these ones. And if they drop again in the next couple years, guess what? I'm gonna pick those up too. But that's it for my 7s. Let's jump into the Jordan 8s. All right, first up, we have the Aqua 8s. Remember seeing these back in the day, and I always wanted to get my hands on a pair of these. I love these. These are dope. Uh, a lot of people's number one out of the 3 OG 8s, but these are number 3 in that ranking. But I'm glad I got my hands on these. Love them. Next, we have the Bugs Bunny 8s. When I saw these saying that they were coming out, I was most definitely getting me a pair of these. And it just helps that it's an OG colorway. Um, it's got that Bugs Bunny like connection to it, like the hairs. So that's always something that I would love. And I'm glad I added these to the collection. But let's get into my last pair of 8s, and then we'll get into the 9. And the final pair of 8s is the playoffs. So now with this is the completed OG original colorways of the 8s. And I've always wanted these from seeing them back in the day. So let's go ahead and get into the only pair of 9s that I have right now. Now this is editing jam. So this part and the rest of the video, there's no audio. I was going through storage issues on my iPhone. That's what I usually use to record. So I had an old camera and I figured I would try it. So this is me saying something about the quality. If the quality is bad, then I'll try to figure something else out. And if the quality is good, I'll continue using the camera. Well, my mic doesn't connect to the camera, so I had a different mic and I didn't know it was recording my audio. So for the rest of the video, it's going to be me voice overing. This whole process has been a disaster, but I don't want to scrap the video because I told y'all I would put this up before the end of the year. So just bear with me. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to make sure this never happens again and really cut out the procrastination. That's what led this rushed project. Okay, this is me going over the powder blue 9s, how when I first saw them, I always wanted them, and basically pretty much going over the backstory of me getting them and how I feel about them, and more or less me saying how I want to add more 9s into my collection, and that the Flints and the Space Jams that are coming out next year, that I need to get my hands on them, and I want to add more 9s in the collection. So I'm just going over that, just me. I'm just yapping like I always do. Just basically going over the materials, how I feel about the color, and how I feel about the Jordan 9 all around as a silhouette. So we're going to cut into the next drop right now. Now here is me talking about the Cherry 11s, and I bring up the fact that the year prior were the cool grays, and that in 2010 I wasn't really big on the cool grays, and then fast forward to 2021, that December, how I wasn't on the cool grays like that again, but more or less the more and more I got to looking at the cool grays and the 11s as a whole, that they started to grow on me, that I feel like I should double back and grab the 11s, the cool grays, and how the cherries were like my least favorite of all my 11s, but that they're still dope, they're still fire, that I would always keep them in my collection. And it's like the red patent leather I was talking about, the materials, the mesh, and everything. So this next drop is going to be, it's the focus of the camera. I didn't realize that I got too close to my camera and it didn't autofocus. So this camera has like a screen that shows you as you're recording, but when I would look off at that screen, it didn't show me that I wasn't autofocused. It just showed that everything was clear, it was all cut. So I'm thinking everything is smooth here. There's also I think 2 more drops that I go over that has the same focus problem, and I promise it's not going to happen again. I'm gonna be more meticulous on my future recordings, and that I think it's coming up right here with the Rare Air 11s. Okay, I was wrong. It's after these. I go over the Legend Blues, how I didn't have them in 2014, that I wanted them, but I missed out on them. I also go over the material on the mesh, how the mesh where the mesh is leather, excuse me, and how the tongue is the mesh. And man, my camera glitching. This is just like this has been a very tough process. So just bear with me and we'll get through this. But I just more or less going over how I feel about the Legend Blues or the Columbias, and how I would have loved to have them back in 2014. So right here is the second part that didn't focus in that I thought it did, and I'm basically going over how I feel about Jordan going down the ice days of the Rare Air 11s, how I feel about the leather being where the mesh is, and even the tongue is leather. I also go over how I like how the patent leather is that royal blue, how I feel about the 11s, the story behind me grabbing the 11s, and basically the same song and dance of how no matter what, I'm not going to get rid of these 11s. They're never leaving my collection. Okay, next up is the bread lows or the playoffs, and I just go over how I feel about the materials, how I feel about the shoe, how I feel about when I missed out on the highs in 2019, and how I want to double back and grab a pair of those. Even though I have the lows, I want the lows and the highs. Then I also mentioned that the day that I went to pick these up, my homie had passed away, and I found out the news, and it just kind of it was something that would forever be burned into my memory banks. Excuse me. So every time that I look at this shoe, I will always remember that, and that's what pushes me more to never get rid of these no matter what. Even though I was never going to get rid of them, I have more of a reason not to ever get rid of those. Next up is the Gammas, and I basically just go over past memories of picking up the 2013 version, and how when I saw that they were coming back out in 2025 that I needed a new pair, well, actually wanted a new pair, and just the overall like materials comparing to the older version, and just how much these really like solidified a lot when it came to me collecting back in the day. And I needed a new pair because my old pair is cooked. So I'm basically just going over that, and just how they are double up worthy. Do not get me wrong, but I was not going to pay $500 for two pairs of the Gammas. But these will forever stay in my collection, just like most of my stuff, just for the simple fact that I have the older version and now I have the retro. And now, last but not least, for my 11s, I go over my Space Jam lows, how I should have doubled up on these, how the Space Jam colorway for the 11s is by far my favorite colorway of the 11s, and that when the highs come out next year, we will be doubling up on those, and I will pay that $500 or however much it is for two pairs of these. I love these so much. I should have doubled up on these. I don't know why I didn't, but I can always go back and grab another pair of them. But it's more or less of I want to knock out other drops that I haven't got in the collection yet before I go back and get these. But these are my babies. Like, these are up there with the military blues, and I love those. So I was just basically going over my love for the Space Jams. Next, we get into my Jordan 12s, and first up is the French Blues. And I go over how I've always been saying that I like the blue on it because the blue is my favorite color, and that I like the red trim on the back and the red 23. I basically go over the shoe itself, the materials, and how I feel like it's an OG colorway when I know it's not an OG colorway. That when it released and when the news came out about it, it just gave you that OG sense vibe about it. But I always unds my 12s, but I just have not worn my French Blues just yet. Next up is the black taxis, and it's just like how I went over with the French Blues. I talk about the materials. I talk about how I feel about the black with the gold hits. Like I unds them, or how I wore them a couple times. That these were the first 12s. No, that these were the second 12s that I got when I got back in the game, and when I saw them, I felt like I had to have them, and overall just how I like the shoe and all the qualities about it. Next up is the playoff 12s. I just talk about how I own the 2012 version, how the white on the bottom just gets dirty, stupid easy. I have worn these before, I think like one or two times, and just going over memories when it comes to these. And then I also mentioned the hang tag that came with the 2012 version. If I can find a picture, I'll pop it up. But how it didn't come with the, I'm pretty sure these dropped in 2021. So I just, going over the 12s, the playoff 12s, how it was my first 12 and my first OG colorway of the 12s that I got. And right here, I'm just talking about the hang tag, and like I said, I'll pop up a picture if I can find one. And it's just, I love the playoff 12s. I don't like the white on the bottom because it gets dirty easy, but that's nothing like a little slight cleanup can take care of. Next up are the cherry 12s, and like the few other pair of 12s in my collection, I have worn these before. I don't know what it is when it comes to 12s. I'm just so quick to unds them. Unlike the other sneakers in my collection, and I just go over that. I get the yapping and stuff. Basically, when I saw these, I'm like, hey, look, those are dope. I need to have them in my collection. I also need to grab their counterparts, the blueberries and the Milwaukee Bucks that come out next year. That would be like a little dope trifecta. But I just basically go over my love for the shoe like always. My camera didn't autofocus here, but the last up is the flu games. I go over how I feel about these. I go over the suede pair and how I used to see the leather pair being worn back in the day, the suede pair being worn back in the day, and how I wanted both versions. Even though I feel like the leather pair is better, I go over like the emoji and the numbers on them, just how I like these. And I have worn these multiple times. I like the red bottoms or the different color bottom 12s a lot better than the white ones, because different color ones like the flu games, the cherries, the French blues, dirt won't show up as prominent, but it makes it easier to clean and look a lot cleaner when it's a different color than white. Okay, next up is the only pair of 13s that I currently have in my collection, and that's the UNC 13s. Now, I'm talking about the playoffs, how my mom had the OGs, that I wanted to get the playoffs for myself and her, but a certain financial situation in 2023, I wasn't able to do that. I just basically are just saying how I want to go back and grab them for her first, and then I'll eventually get my pair. I was talking about how I want to add more 13s in my collection. We got the Flints coming out next year. We got the cherries or Chicago's or the white and reds, whatever you want to call them. And I'm just going over how I want to add more 13s in my collection. The 13s is a very good silhouette, and it's very comfortable and true to size because they fit snug. And I love those UNCs, and I'm never getting rid of those, man. Just that blue. Now we're getting into my 14s, and I'm talking about how I've never owned a pair of the black toes before. And when I saw them, I had to have them. These are so fire. They're so dope. And the suede on the toe reminds me of the suede that was on the 2011 last shots that seem like they're durable through anything. So I just go over how I like the shoe, the materials, go over like never owning them before, and that, of course, as a broken record, that I love these. Okay, next up is my last pair of 14s, and it's the Ferraris. I'm saying how I didn't own the previous pair. I remember seeing these on people's feet. They came out on my birthday this year, so it was like a birthday present to myself, and I had to cop them. A lot of people like the older version better because of the suede not being as dark, but being a first time owner, it didn't really make me no difference. I was gonna get them regardless if I had the older pair or not. Now we get into the only pair of 15s I have, and I go over how I traded those for the 2012 military blues. Yeah, roast me. I go over just the shoe itself, how I feel about the shoe, that I want to get more 15s in my collection, and I want to get a good pair, like a DS pair, or very near DS pair of the Obsidians. It's just the 15 is such an underrated sneaker, and I'm starting to see people like it more, which is good. So I just, I like the 15s. Like at first I hated them, but when I got those, I fell in love with them, and it's crazy because those are not even my right size. Those are a 9.5. So I need to get me another pair that is actually my size, which is a size 10. These look dirty because I actually wear them quite a lot versus if I was just to leave them sitting in the box like I do most of my other drops. So now we're getting close to the end of the video. I'm going over my 23s and how I felt when I first saw the Stealth 23s back in '08, I think it is. So these are the mid-autumn 23s, and I still want to grab the year of the rabbit 23s. Just how I love the 23s, how they're so unique that at first people didn't really care for them, but I'm starting to see more people actually like the 23s, rocking the 23s, saying whatever, like posting whatever colorway that they have in the 23s. And the 23s is one of the Jordans that I really want to have a decent amount of in my collection. Like I said, I want to get the Stealths, I want the Motorsports, I want the Year of the Rabbits. Just so many different 23s that I want to get. Yes, my spike lows. So now we're getting into the hybrid portion of the video. I basically talk about how I like spikes, even though nobody else likes the spikes. I do like the lows. I'm talking about how when the mids or the highs of the Toro Bravo spikes dropped, they was gone. So when I saw them coming back out, I knew that I had to get them in my collection. There's a couple more spike lows I want to get in my collection, like the Black Cats and neutral grays that I have the highs for. I know they're not popular like that, but that's okay because I don't go after hype. I go and grab what I like, and I happen to have these in my collection, especially with the fours coming out next year. Dub Zetos. Now, I remember seeing people having these back in the day, and I always wanted a pair of them. I'm glad I got the red, black, and white pair because I wanted that pair, and I think it was like the UNC colorway that had dropped. Uh, these are dope to me. They got a little bit of almost, not gonna say almost every Jordan, but you can see the 12s in them, the 20s with the laser. You see the 4 bottom, the 6s on the back tab, or the pull tab. It's just the Dub Zeros was something that I wanted in my collection, and I was glad that they came back out, so I was able to have at least one pair in my collection, and I have worn these at least one other time. I do need to bring these back out. And we get into the portion of the video that nobody's gonna like: six rings. So I used to really like six rings before they saturated them. These two are, well, the Harris is an OG colorway, but in the six rings format. That's basically what I'm saying. And the Space Jams is not an OG colorway, but it's a colorway of the Jordan 11 that I love. When it comes to six rings, I like OG colorway S six rings. So when they first dropped, they dropped the Concourse, they dropped the Playoffs. I recently saw that they brought the Playoffs back out. They dropped the Chicago colorway, and to be honest with you, there was some dope six rings when they first dropped. You had the Phoenix Suns, you had all different type team six rings. Nowadays, it's just like you don't miss the drop. Okay, we're dropping a pair of six rings that same colorway, and that's what's kind of like made people like sour on the six rings, in my opinion. I also do have the carbon fiber six rings that came out back in 2011 or 2012. I just don't know where they're at. Otherwise, they would have been in my part one collection video. Well, I'm just basically going over that. Like, if it's an OG-S colorway of the six rings, I like it. But if it's just like the cool grays, like that's just like it's just something about the six rings that's just not it not at least not all of them. This portion of the video is all of my shoes that are not Jordans, which is only 2, I think. These Vapor Max Pluses, I love these. When I saw them, I just had to pick them up. I do need to clean them up. It's that army green and orange colorway, and I do have a pair of red that are just cooked. There's a couple more colorways of them that I do eventually want to pick up. And then we go into my Yeezys, my 350s. I originally got these because I missed out on the Racer Blue 5s that came out, I'm pretty sure, earlier that year. My original plan was to get the Racer Blue 5s and have them for my birthday that year, and that fell through. So I was looking for a blue shoe or a black and blue shoe, and I saw that these were coming out, and I had to get my hands on them. I did end up wearing these on my birthday, and I've actually worn the mess out of these. I do love these. These are very comfortable, and I would low-key grab another pair to keep on ice, and then I would continue rocking the mess out of these until like they pretty much fell apart. But I'm pretty sure, like, I think this is the end of the video. I don't think I have any more drops. Yeah, okay. So this is me basically thanking you guys for sticking with me, for all the support. The last time I checked, we were like 28 subscribers away from hitting 1,000, and one of my goals was trying to hit 1,000 before the end of the year. I don't think we're going to hit that goal, which is okay. Like I said earlier, I'm going to test the waters with this camera. I'm going to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. My procrastination, I need to put that behind me. That's the only reason why this is like as rushed as it is. 2026 is going to be a different year. I am going to write down a whole bunch of different video ideas, goals, and stuff like that, and I'm going to attack it head on. But I do appreciate every single one of y'all. I appreciate you for tuning in to this video, and I hope you reach every goal that you set out for yourself, and I hope you reached every goal that you set out for yourself in 2025. So now we can just bring that into 2026. I wish good health on all y'all. I wish that nothing but prosperity. Just be you, stay true, and just stick to the grindstone. Don't be like me and procrastinate till the very last day of the year if you want to do a major product. But I appreciate you for tuning in. Y'all stay safe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.